Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome back from your break. I do hope that you got an opportunity to go through our virtual booths and to take a look and to do a little bit of networking. Because, of course, as you found out earlier, and as you will find out as we go along, because we'll keep reminding you, because these booths are so amazing. There should be a booth there that you should have gone to for the Office of the Cabinet, of course, the Public Sector Modernizing Division. You should have seen the Jamaica Public Service booth, the VM Group booth, the Heart NSTA Trust Group booth, rather, the JMB Group booth, and also the Ashebre, the virtual restaurant booth. Now, we've come to a section of our event, and I like to call it an event because this level of excitement, this level of production is an event. It's not just a conference, it is a moment. Okay? And so we're now here where we're about to start our panel discussion number 2. And this theme of the panel discussion is building and ICT capabilities for service excellence. Now, of course, earlier on, you were introduced to the esteemed Professor Lloyd Waller. For this particular panel discussion, Professor Waller will be moderating a group of panelists who are more than accomplished to bring information to you on the topic of building the ICT capabilities for excellent service. Panelist number 1 is Miss Henleith Curtis, Department Head, Client Relations, eGov Jamaica. Panelist number 2 is Miss Tamika Clough. And Miss Tamika Clough is of the Registrar General's Department. Panelist number 3 is Mr. Dennis Miller, and Mr. Miller is the Director of Mineral Economics and Development in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining. Now, I want you to make sure, remember earlier on we told you to have your pen and paper out, because maybe you can't type as fast, you maybe can write a little faster, whichever one it is. Make sure you have some way to record, because the information is going to be just coming at you. We'll have a little question and answer session afterwards. I want you to also make sure you note your questions in the chat so we can have them answered by the panel. So, Professor Waller, are you ready?
ICT capabilities for service excellence. The digital turn ushered in by the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way in which governments operate and deliver services worldwide. In our interconnected and fast-paced world, customers have now come to expect immediate responses, seamless digital experiences, and consistent service delivery. As organizations gradually acknowledge this shift, there's an intrinsic need to interrogate ICT capabilities to remain at the forefront of their respective industries. But what does this genuinely mean with regard to digital capabilities, and how can they be harmonized to ensure service excellence? Building ICTs for service excellence necessitates the acquisition and mastery of what we call digital skills to effectively leverage technology to enhance service delivery. And when we talk about digital capabilities and more so digital skills, we're talking about elements such as digital literacy, digital communication and collaboration, digital content creation, safety and security related issues, digital footprints and identity, digital rights, licensing, etiquette, coding, computational thinking, data analysis, e-commerce, the works. Many of which we are involved in at many levels in government, and many of which we ourselves have actually tried to articulate and project and raise capacities and capabilities in government. But these are just some of the issues that our distinguished panels and each an expert in their own domain will shed light on. And today we are blessed to have in our presence Miss, let me bring this up, Miss Henley Curtis, Miss Tanisha Clark, and Mr. Dennis Miller. They will share their insights from their vast experiences, showcasing real life case studies and discuss challenges, and most important, pinpoint strategies that organizations can adopt to be able to build digital capabilities for service excellence. Ms. Curtis, Ms. Henley Curtis is the department head client relations at eGov Jamaica Limited, an organization which I was previously affiliated with. Mr. Nisha Clark is from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and Mr. Dennis Miller is the minerals economist at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. So we'll start with Miss Henley Curtis, the department head. Miss Curtis, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Are you hearing me? Good morning, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay, and thank you. I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to speak and to present on behalf of eGov what we are doing. I also applaud the efforts of the Customer Service Association for having this conference on the power of service excellence. And it is very important as government continue to make their strides in service excellence. So in my presentation today, I'd like to just first introduce you to the organization eGov Jamaica Limited in terms of who we are and what we do. Is a slide up? Okay, I'm not seeing a presentation up as yet. If I can share mine.
So I was just have you tried to just share? Just click
I
in
will
the
share
center and
mine.
share.
I will share
Yes,
mine. Okay.
it's great.
I think we are experiencing a little technical difficulty. Your slides are ready now.
Yeah, so can they put them up, please?
Can you put up the slides, please? All right. Can you share? Can you? Would you be able
Okay.
to just click on present? Just look at the bottom there. You see present.
Hi, right. So thank you very much,
Just right. Just
Professor
click present,
Wallow. Right.
and then
Click
just direct,
present.
and then directly click on slides or share screen, whichever one you choose. You may click on share screen.
Are you seeing my screen now?
Not as yet.
It's actually there.
So you're seeing it where you are now.
Yes.
Okay, it's coming up. Good. We're there. Can you just enlarge it, please?
Just a minute. It is not coming up here. I'd rather it seem not to be coming up from my side here.
So you want us to move on to the next presenter and then just give you some time to get it. Okay, it's up now. Okay, it's up. Miss Clough, could you turn on your mic, please? Thank you very much.
Good
Miss Clough.
morning, Prof.
Good morning, madam.
How are you?
I am good.
Good.
Right. We now invite you to present while we organize for the next presenter. So you may begin, madam.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here again. Thank you so much for inviting us, and we look forward to sharing with you some more about RGD. We've been in this space before. We presented last year at the Service Excellence Conference, but it was from a different angle. So this year, it's building ICT capabilities for service excellence. And again, happy Customer Service Week. And before I go any further into my presentation, just wanted to show you our beautiful wedding registry room at our head office location. If you can see behind me, you see the letters R. Let me see. That's the G and that's the D. So that's for RGD. So we can customize Prof or any one of your friends. If they want to get married, we can put up the
And
initials.
just for clarity, so they know, because they see us laughing and smiling at each other. So just for clarity for the audience, I'm actually the chairman of the board for the RGD, right?
That's
so just for
correct.
clarity.
Yes, so feel free to come to the RGD to have your wedding. It's an affordable option. We're gonna build out a beautiful garden also, so you can take photographs at our head office, and our other locations look just as beautiful as you can see behind me here. Okay, so we'll get into the slides. Okay, so everyone can see my screen? Yes, so as you know, RGD, our focus is on civil registration, and we've been mandated since 1878 to conduct civil registrations. And what is that? So we have a repository, and the only repository in Jamaica, vital events, and that includes births, deaths, marriages, stillbirths, and adoptions. So we have all those records here at the RGD since 1660, actually. So originally, we started compulsory registration in 1878, and it became legal with legal framework in 1880. And as you can see in the photograph, that is one of our registration officers registering a baby with mother and father in the background. How did we store our data in 1878? We use what we call volumes. And these particular volumes that you're looking at on the screen are the Register of Births from St. James, Hanover, Trelawney, every parish in Jamaica in 1878. And we did this for till 1881, actually, where we registered persons in these volumes. However, there was some overlap. And by 1880, we started to do registrations on what you might see what you call the long form for your birth certificates. On the screen now, you'll see a picture of our new permanent secretary and the chief technical director at the Office of the Prime Minister looking in one of the volumes. So as mentioned before, we started using the long form, what we call the long form birth certificate, January 1880, and we stopped using that one in December 1956. You may be more familiar with what we call the short form, and there were two versions of the short form. So we use the one on the right now since January 2007. So we used to collect our data or register our vital events, what we call records, vital records, paper-based. And you know, from 18, what type of technology was being used in, let me see, 1878? What was around? I think the telephone was invented in what, 1876? And we had Morse code, that kind of technology back then. So unfortunately, we had to maintain our paper systems in order to keep our records safe and secure. Of course, microfilm came in about the 1920s, but it did not get popular as a means of preserving information until about the 80s or the 1990s. And of course, on the cusp of that, RGD was right there. We did microfilm for all our births, deaths, and marriages in our repository during that time. So up to 1990, one of our major challenges in the RGD was tracking applications. And when we were designated an executive agency, of course, we had to modernize our practices. If an application was going through the process, the organization could not indicate to the customer where in the process the application was. So our process was significantly manual and moved across several departments. So the agency could only respond when the application was completed, if a query was being generated, or by searching through piles of applications using the receipt number. And this proved to be very time-consuming and tedious. Major initiatives that came after we became an executive agency through modernization initiatives was one, our IRI, what we call our IRI database, which was created in 1999. And that means Index Rebuilding Implementation Exercise. What this did, it indexed all the records that were involved, so it would be able, we were able to easily retrieve a birth record based on the information provided by the customer. We then went on to develop what we called at the time BATS. BATS was Baby Application Tracking System. So once a new baby was born, we created a database for those new babies and eventually updated that database with the older records. That was done in 2001. By May 2001, we created what was called the Birth, Death, and Marriage System, or BDMS, and that was also used to assist us in tracking birth records. We started printing on security paper, again, May 2001, and with this came several other, obviously domino effects from printing on security paper. Eventually, we evolved into placing our information, our databases on the intranet to improve and increase access across all RGD locations. And as you know now, we have 10 RGD locations. So all our offices have to have access to real-time information. So this facilitated that. This created operational efficiencies that allowed the agency to offer expedited and express services to our customers. Our ICT resources, deployment of our computer systems across the organization. We installed firewalls and retrieval applications through the installation, of infrastructure such as file servers, application servers, web servers, and placing our applications online as a result. So we had applications online for birth, death, and marriage. So you could actually go on in 2003 and make an application for a birth, a death, or a marriage application in 2003. However, at the time, you would not have been able to pay for it. That came in 2006 when we put online payments on our website, and we were able to facilitate payment for those same birth, death, and marriage applications. Bedside registration came about in 2007, and of course it was at the time paper-based, and of course we launched the first free birth certificate initiative, same 2007. However, once we saw the use of technology and its importance, we started doing electronic birth registration at bedside using tablets in 2011. And that is a picture of one of our mothers registering her infant. at the launch of the electronic bedside registration application. And of course, we went on to do other initiatives with voice over IP and building out our call center, vital records digitization project. So we first started to digitize in 2013, and online verification services that we provide to our embassies and consulates to verify our birth records, our birth certificates. But guess what? COVID-19 hit and we had to pivot. We realized then that we had lots of services that needed to go online so that our customers could get greater access. And so we developed several applications for our website, including the electronic burial order system. We placed our online refund system and facilitated live streaming of registry weddings at the head office specifically in 2020. In addition to that, we put a feature on our website for our online web chat. That didn't stop us because although COVID was real, we continued to pivot and place additional services on our website, as again to create improved access and greater access to our customers who couldn't physically come into our facilities. As you know, in St. Catherine at the head office, the whole of St. Catherine at one point was locked down, and it would have affected our head office and our Portmore office. And so this facilitated greater access to our services by our customers during that time. And even after restrictions were lifted in 2022 for COVID, we continue to be what we call in RGD digitally bold. And we continue to launch several other applications on our website, including our online search and online adoption application, as well as our online wedding scheduling application. And as I said, you can always come to the RGD to get married. You can schedule your wedding online. You can pick a date. If a date is not available, the schedule will indicate same. And you can pick your time also, the time you want to get married and the location you want to get married by using this application. We also rebranded our genealogical research services to what we call now Outer Many Research, and that was done in December last year, along with our online office copy and online recording search applications. We innovated again with our new security paper, and of course that is important because over time persons may try to create fraudulent documents based on our older paper, and so we had to issue new security paper to improve our security features. We then launched this year, May 2023, the Fujitsu digitization project, which is digitizing the remaining records in our vault, which is about 2.3 million records. And we didn't stop there. We continued with the self-service portal that we've put up in our Kingston and Montego Bay offices. And this allows persons who don't have access to a computer at home to apply online so that they can, what we call, skip the line. So this is at our Kingston office. And if the line is too long and they want to apply online, they'll get some support from one of our customer service representatives, apply for it. If they're able to pay online, they can facilitate the payment through the portal. Otherwise, it will generate a tracking number that they can take to the cashier and pay while waiting in branch. So while we roll out our applications, we still have to consider all of our ICT policies, and these are very important to support the work that we do here at RGD because presentations were made earlier about data protection. So not to be left out are our governance principles and policies. And we also conducted a comprehensive IT audit, an external audit that showed us some of our weaknesses. Of course, we have tackled all of those and accomplished all the implementation of those issues that were identified. And we're now doing an internal audit of our new online applications. So today's considerations are much different from when we became an executive agency in 1999. The challenge was that we could not track an application. Now, our considerations are upgrading our outdated software, improving security to ward off new age threats and vulnerabilities, and improve flexibility to optimize processing of records. Even with these considerations, we continue to roll out more applications, more initiatives to improve our ICT infrastructure and improve our delivery of service to our customers. And again, thank you so much for having the RGD participate in the Service Excellence Conference. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clough, for your insightful and very positive articulation of this, of just 1% of the fantastic digital services that the RGD provides. You know, I had to put in my little plug the RGD provides as the organization morphs into a 21st century institution. Ms. Curtis, you think we're ready now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. You're up now, Ms. Curtis. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, again, thank you. I'm going to start from telling you about eGov, and we have our vision statement. And I decided to start here because it is very important to know who we are, what we do, and who we serve. And here is our vision statement: to be the reliable ICT solutions and services company dedicated to achieving excellence and transformational value to the government of Jamaica, which means it's also a mission. We exist to revolutionize the government of Jamaica's interactions with its citizens, with the entities, citizenry, and businesses through harnessing the power of ICT, which says core to what we do is ICT. And our current mandate is to lead the development and implementation of information and communication technology strategies, frameworks, and solutions for the government of Jamaica. We are a government-to-government entity in most part. When I heard the RGD speaking about their assessment that they did earlier, eGov played a critical part in assisting the organization with that activity. So we offer services, we build it based on offer services in driving service excellence within the government to the ministries, departments, and agencies through 3 principles. We're looking at the pillars: principles, the services, governance, and ICT governance. Now, when we speak about these principles, what are they? User-focused. It means that we need to prioritize whatever we do, we prioritize the needs and preferences and experiences of the end users. And the end users are the citizens and the government, the ministries, departments, and agencies, in order to create products and services that addresses the needs, not just developing or working with any arbitrary thing. We must ensure that those needs are user-focused and they provide seamless and satisfying interaction. Think digital. It is digital by default. It's not manual. We're looking at digital. So whatever services that the MDAs are providing or we are developing, we must first think digital, using digital channels, using digital platforms, prioritizing online accessibility and convenience as the primary mode of interaction. Data-driven. Today's world is taking data, analyzing data, looking for empirical evidence, analytics to drive the decisions we make. Ubiquity. Information accessible everywhere, anywhere, at any time, wherever persons are located. Whenever we are doing designing or working with our entities, we always want to also look at interoperability. We're not just designing for one system. It must be able to be shared across systems, across devices. Today, persons are using their mobile, they're using their tablets, they're using their desktops, they're using other things. And whatever data that is being shared, and it should be shared seamlessly, it should be able to be interoperable across various platforms and across various systems. And embedded in all of that, we heard about security early on. Security is key to what we do. The data we collect, the data we share, the data entities collect, or the systems or any information that is being stored at eGov on behalf of clients must be secure. There's a secure area that the channels to get to us, the channels to access the data, all security should be in place because we're dealing with sensitive data, and those availability should be very secure. Then we look at the services. Now, there are a lot of services that are being offered today, services that we assist government entities in with, services that other government entities who develop or have third-party develop that are available. So there are citizen-facing services that we work with entities to assist them to share. You have the gov.jm, which is a central area. Anywhere anyone can go on and gov.jm, and it's a window to the government of Jamaica. There's an open data portal, and that site is dedicated for government entities to share package data with anybody in Jamaica or anywhere. We had to pivot. The country had to pivot, and we heard that earlier during COVID. And systems had to be developed during that time to respond to the emergency need. We worked with the Ministry of Finance to offer the WeCare services for the disbursement of funds to various entities and individuals. We also had the N software where persons use it for purchasing goods and delivery services. And we also have the Own Your Own device, which is now being used for the disbursement of tablets throughout the various schools in Jamaica. Government is doing a lot. We have the window for doing business. We have the National Business Gateway, again, available to anyone who wants to do business with the country. We have the Smart Check, and that is so known, your ticket management system. Right now, persons are using, and we worked with the entities, with the Ministry of National Security, with this software. There's a government electrical registration where registered electricians, if you as an average citizen want to find an certified electrician, you go on the government electrical registration platform and see who is available, who are the persons who are registered. We look at the online passport renewal that is available today. And we have the Jamaica Development Applications Portal, which registers for barbers, hairdressers, and these are just a few that is available. Underpinning all of that is the infrastructure that needs to be available to support that. So we have the broadband. Broadband is being rolled out to schools, rolled out to entities who needs connections, and this is a government service that is available. And we work with the various telecoms for all of this. We spoke about, and now we have the governance. We're offering all of this. This is happening in government. How is it being governed? Earlier, we heard from the Office of the Information Commissioner on data protection. I don't need to expand more on that because that was spoken of quite a lot there. We, eGov, work with the ministries and departments and agencies to provide guidance. There are services that we are not able to do ourselves. Once we can't do it, we still provide the necessary guidance for service delivery through procurement, infrastructure design, hosting services, wide area network design, software development, or we provide guidance and directions for entities to get the better service for where it is available. We also look at sustainability. It's one thing to develop something today, but is it sustainable? and eGov work with the teams to ensure that whatever is being developed or what are services that an entity is deciding to embark on, it is sustainable because we're spending funds and we want to make better use and good use of all of these funds. Now, it's not a perfect world, and there are areas, yes, that there are some changes or we have seen some gaps and we say we need to develop there. And I was going to start with communicating service excellence, but I leave that for the last. Sustainability of solutions, we spoke about that earlier, that we must ensure that these solutions that are being developed are sustainable. Business agility, continue improving the business services. We have heard from the RGD that is saying that they're looking at continuously looking at ways to improve their service delivery and process improvement for at the end of the day, to ensure that you, the average citizen, we, or the ministries, departments, and agencies are getting more, I would say, efficient and effective services. Greater integration of services, always interoperability, not just for one system, but across various platforms. Once only policy. We know the headache persons have where they will go to, and I will use the RGD as one entity. You went to the RGD and you gave them all of this information and you say, hey, I have gone through this and I've given them my TRN and all of that. And then we go now to the tax administration and they ask us for some of those same information. The once only policy is to be able to give your information to one ministry, department, and agents or agency. And when you go to another one, that information is there, the key information. We call that the once only policy. Now, based on what we have been hearing all of today, we see that government is making strides. But are we communicating our service excellence? Are we talking about it? Are we telling our stories? Today is one opportunity for stories to be told. And we want to say always, we're looking for ways to always communicate what government is doing to reach the citizens, citizen-facing solutions to make the experience with government more palatable. So we have an event that we have that we launched. We launched it last year, our Technology Month that happens in November. And there is one particular event, our technology showcase, where we showcase what government is doing, all citizen-facing solutions. Once we reach out and we know that those are available, we talk about it. Government needs us, we as government entities need to tell our stories, showcase what we're doing, and to enlighten the public and our government in general of what systems are being put in place, what services are being put in place to drive service excellence. And that is it for me for today. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Curtis. Again, I am familiar with the name Miss Curtis, and I think times, just I would not get him the smiles like Miss Clough, because me and Mrs. Clough, we are correct. Me and Miss Curtis, we used to be. I used to also be chairman of the board for eGov Jamaica Limited. Excellent organization, hardworking people, literally the ICT backbone of Jamaica. Continue doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
We now have Mr. Dennis Miller. Sir Miller, the floor is yours.
Okay, to get this bigger. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to share this development that we this morning. To share this app that we developed for the mining sector. And this app came out of the need for the sector in terms of to provide the operators with a platform that they can easily conduct, calculate their cost of production. And this, I hear some noise in the background. Man. Okay. Yes. So this app will assist quarry operators in the mining sector to calculate their cost of production. Currently now, they don't have a structured way to calculate it. They have a working knowledge, so this app will definitely assist them in calculating their cost of production. Can move to the next slide. So as I mentioned before, the mining sector is very important to Jamaica, and we want the operators to be as efficient as possible. So this app will give them an idea if their operation is profitable or not, or if they have room they can increase or they need to decrease their price. So this app will calculate how much it costs the operator to produce a ton of material. So if you know the cost to produce a ton of material, you can know the price that you need to sell it at to be profitable or to be competitive. Or even though they are selling at a price now, and when he uses this app and say what his true cost of production is, he can say he can determine at the existing price if he's making a profit or not. And they also can use this information to financial institution in terms of getting loans. They can use it to show the banks and the financial institution that that the business is profitable. So or they can state their case in their business proposal, the economics of the operation, or profitable it is. Can go to the next slide. So for this application, we use straight economics methodology in terms of this method we use is a simple method, the total cost. And if you look in your economics book, it is also, the term also uses average cost. So this basic concept is the total cost divided by total output in a given day or a given month or a given period. So when you calculate your total cost, you divide it by the total output for a given period, and that will give you your cost of production in the economic sense. So this app is based on this theory, this economic theory that total cost divided by output give you a cost of production. And we try to model this theory into the app in calculating their cost of production over time. Can move next. So as I mentioned before, so this is the background theory. Total production cost equal. So we want to calculate it, first of all, the total production cost. That include is fuel costs, labor costs, every cost that he use in a given period. So total cost is the cost of raw material. In the quarry sense, it would be like the aggregate that he extract from the earth. So that would be his base raw material. And plus the direct cost of labor, and plus his overheads, that would be electricity, security, and other costs, office rental and those overheads. So basically, those are the main three costs that would make up the total cost. So go back to the formula. Production cost per unit equal total production cost. That's what I highlighted before. divide the total number of unit produced. Like after all of this cost, you produce a ton of material. So you divide the ton of material by the total production cost. Continue. You can go to the video. Anyway, we lose the video. But yeah, so the other
Sorry,
stage.
my apologies for the interruption, Mr. Miller. So I realized that you were trying to speak while the video was playing, but we cannot hear you when the video is being played. So, so you may proceed with the comments so that the audience can hear your commentary on what was played.
Okay, so you can just present the video and then I will just give a synopsis of what took place. You can just continue showing the video to the end. Okay. That was a typical limestone quarry, which there are basically three processes where they extract the material, transport it to the crusher, and the crusher give you different aggregate sizes. So that is the end product. So in terms of modeling all of those costs to produce that amount of material, what we have done was we put all of these costs, model the cost into our app, which will be soon available in the App Store. So the operator can put in his cost, his various costs, and the app will calculate his cost of production. So two key elements you need to produce to put in the app is cost of production as well as the total quantity produced for the day. So that's why the theory is important, because this concept is embedded in the economic theory. So I will move now to share the app with you. You can give me sharing privilege.
Mr. Miller, to share, just click the present option and share your screen. Share screen and select what you want to share with the audience.
Present option. Okay. All right. My screen is sharing now. You can see my screen.
Not as yet, Mr. Miller. The screen isn't being shared. Just click present and then click share screen. Ensure that you've selected the window that you want to share with the audience and click the share button in order for it to be visible.
No, I did that a while ago.
Hello, everyone. We apologize for the technical issues that we're having at the moment. We hope to have the app shared in the interim. Professor Wallow will proceed with the Q&A segment consisting of Ms. Clow and Ms. Curtis. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Well, if we assume that capabilities refer to skills and abilities or competencies that an individual or an organization or system has that indicates their potential to perform certain tasks, and we assume that capacity essentially talks about the potential of someone to be able to achieve such tasks, then given the topic, we're going to make an assumption and kind of change up the question somewhat and focus some more on digital skills. And just as a reminder, when we talk about digital skills, we're talking about digital literacy, data and information literacy, digital communication, problem solving skills. I mean, it's a range that goes far to digital efficacy, data analysis, data interpretation, and monitoring and evaluation as well. And then if that's the case, and digital capabilities or digital skills are needed or urgently needed for us to be able to provide service excellence in Jamaica, then, and this first question goes out to both the presenters. What are the top 3 digital skills that are required now in Jamaica for service excellence in GOJ? And this is just based on your observation. Top skills that are you think that are in demand right now for those persons who may want to think about kind of jumping from one to another and doing some upgrading of cells, redevelopment of cells. What are the 3 top skills you think are necessary now? Could you turn on your mic, please, Ms. Clough?
Oh, sorry about that, Prof.
No problem.
All right. So for us at the RGD, 3 of the most important skill sets we find, especially in evolving our services, is programmers, that's 1, webmasters, and of course our network officers. So our hardware officers. Those 3, I would think, are very important. Without them, we're back to the paper. We're back to manual.
What about at eGov? And I don't necessarily mean only eGov, just eGov is everywhere. So
Yes.
based on what eGov is seeing elsewhere and eGov, what are the top 3 digital skills?
Well, one of them is data mining, data analysis. Business intelligence is critical as we are swamped with all of this data. And how do we mine that? How do we interpret those data? What are imperative? So we go into a lot of, and I see that is needed right across government based on interactions that we have had. They're getting all of this data. They don't know how to mine it. They don't know how to read into it. They don't know how to make that data information and then share. Software engineers are always needed. That's a fast moving field. And business process improvement persons who deal with business analysis can go in and go into an organization, look at their current processes and recommend more efficient and effective ways for the business to be done. It's not just automating your manual process, because if you're just taking manual process and automating it, you're automating a problem. But looking at the process and see how best you can make changes for it to be more efficient to delivering service. Yes, those are some of the skills that we're seeing that are in need.
Mr. Miller, you want to jump in here? Thank you very much, Ms. Curtis. Okay, not see Mr. Miller.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Miller, yeah, go ahead. You want to jump in here? We're not seeing you, we're hearing you though.
Okay, I just turn on the camera. Okay, yes, we had some technical challenges. I wanted to show you the actual app because the app is actually.
No man, we'll come back to the app. We'll use it as our exit.
Yes.
Okay.
So just in a summary, the video show you one of the typical.
Hold on 1 second. We're coming back to the video. We just took a pause to do the question and answer. So the question I want to ask you now, based on where you sit, what are the 3 top digital skills that you think are needed right now in GOJ, in the ministry, for service excellence?
Well, from my standpoint, I think like Teams, Google Teams, and those other platforms that we're using now, I think persons need, because they have a lot of capability, which we are just touching the surface. So I think some training into utilize these Google Teams, because realize it can do a lot more than just meeting per se. So
Okay.
it was briefly introduced to us what the capabilities, but there wasn't any follow-up in terms of all these devices, these platforms. So I think that is one area that in terms of service and meeting, we can utilize the technology more.
Okay,
That's
so excellent. Those are just some of the areas for anyone who is interested in reskilling right now. The world has changed. A lot of the skills that we thought we held close to our hearts, our chest, the knowledge we had, may or may not be of equal value as it was before. And certainly, I mean, I personally during COVID did a couple of certificate programs. One of which was in data analytics. And there are many places on that offer these skills that and life is a lifelong education is a lifelong process. So
Yes.
times you should try to see how best to build your own capabilities should in case anything happens. And so we have programming, we have um, teams are meeting technology, and we have data analytics, business intelligence, networking, and hardware as some of the elements. Now, I want to jump now way into the future, which is the present, and talk a bit about AI and the AI as a tool. We're being positive here now. AI as a tool that helps you to be that better person in your organization, that cuts your work time by 50% or 20%, 30%, 100% in some instances. Is it being encouraged in the civil service? Is it being facilitated in the civil service? Many persons, when you hear the word AI, the first thing that comes to mind is ChatGPT and plagiarism, which for me represents 0.000000001 percentage of what AI can do for you in an organization. Is it being embraced? And are there any challenges, cultural or otherwise, to using AI to build up capabilities in your organization for service excellence?
yes, I did bring up that point because I went overseas in the summer, and I was talking to a relative, and he's an IT person, and and in terms of doing his evaluation for all of the staff members, he said he have an AI platform which help him to do all of these. It usually take him a lot of time to do the performance evaluation. And they came up. We said I would follow up with him with the software that he used. But is similar to AI where that software cut down the amount of time where he spent on doing performance evaluation, because that is almost like a routine thing that you can do. And you just put in some things, and he was telling us about it, and it cut down the amount of time you use to do these things. And right now, I'm not seeing it. It is being encouraged. Well, first of all, we need to know what is out there and where AI is really practical. Uh, my understanding is for more routine stuff, it's easy to put AI to the tasks, repetitive tasks, or things what you can do. So we need to look into those areas where you said where those are the low hanging fruits, where repetitive stuff you can use AI and cut down the time that you will use to do those things. And I think we should encourage it in the workspace, because that is the future now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. May I invite another panelist to offer their view?
Okay, if I may speak. So,
Right.
AI is not new, but prevalence is, when we listen, we hear many persons in technology will tell you, oh, way back when AI. I know one of the things in our organization is to determine policy standards and guidelines for the use of AI in the workplace and of AI at the workplace. And so why it is not, it is embraced. We just need to put in, we are working on proper policy standards and guidelines for its use in certain tasks. We're looking at how AI is changing the way project management is done. We are inviting a speaker at all within the technology month to speak on that. how is AI changing the world of project management? We have to look at how AI is changing the world of other types of jobs, other activities that we do. So then some persons, it is welcome for wordsmithing and all of that, but caution to be taken. You don't want to, you have to ensure no plagiarism, because persons will present you something and when you realize it's like AI generated, so did they really do deep research? So while we standards and guidelines that we're working on, but we're in technology, we're a tech, we embraces it, we hear and we embrace it, but just to be cautious in terms of, or the policies, I would say, standards and guidelines that is used throughout government. I think there is a group now that is looking at that government wide. And so we look forward to the outcome of that. But within the entity, there are certain things that we use it for, as Mr. Miller say, repeatable tasks for certain things. And then we, go in as to how it's used to ensure that we are delivering credible information and we're doing credible work in terms of how we operate each day. So yes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Curtis. Ms. Clough, you want to chime in?
Sure. So whilst my background might not be in IT, I liaise with the IT department a lot because, of course, I am nothing without my IT team. So there are some applications that we want to roll out for next financial year that will use AI. I won't say them now because we want to launch them and, of course, add on the added features that it will use. But there are some applications that we are planning to roll out that will use it. And of course, we use AI in the organization for continuous improvement. So, for example, our coders, our programmers might use AI in doing programs and coding, for example. So that's one of the ways that we actually use AI now. But we would use AI, of course, to tackle our routine tasks, things that we do quite often. We will use the technology to improve on those efficiencies so that we don't have to use human resources to carry them out. Um, so yes, that's how we are looking at AI right now. But we anticipate any policy directives, of course, from eGov where that is concerned so that we are utilizing AI in the right way.
I must say that I have moved from writing formulas in Excel, now called algorithms, to just now going into an app to tell the app that, for column one, I want you to calculate the regression for, from A to B to, and it does all of that for me and explains it to me. So, and I said that to say that, I'm going to, for the next round of questions, I'm going to focus again a little bit on AI because the truth is, it is the future.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of cognitive reality that we're now, digital cognitive reality that we're now shifting into. Perhaps that's should be the name for Industry 5.0, the digital cognitive space. Are there any concerns in your organizations? Is there any alarms being raised about the need to put up guardrails from a cultural standpoint? Because I'm here thinking about the acceptance of AI in the future and how it's perceived, given what is happening in many countries around the world and how many governments are looking at it, some in a negative, some in a positive light, perhaps. And then, and of course, the kind of digital divide between the pro AI people and the I would want to say pre-COVID, but the pro AI people and those who have a concern about AI. Are you seeing that kind of tension that is happening? Is there a general view that it's something that we should embrace or something that we should cautiously watch?
Step in here.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller. May I invite you?
When you start mentioning AI, embrace or not embrace, I don't know if this is a good analogy. It will remind me of during COVID, if you take the vaccine or don't take the vaccine.
Wow.
That culture. And you might have that pushback for persons very skeptical about the AI in terms of what it can do or what it cannot do. So, so I think that with the whole advent of social media and with in terms of like taking the vaccine and not taking the vaccine, people might look at it, view it this way that it's something come to, it have some other motive. So I don't. So I suspect that maybe that cultural skepticism about it might might you might have a pushback.
Okay,
Person
gotcha.
who embraces that.
I don't think I don't think Miss Clough, I don't think you would have you need to respond because you already said that there's some level of embrace then.
You
And
know, you know.
I was going to say to Ego, you can't, because you are the person who will dictate the space. You may or may not want to respond, but if you can go ahead and respond if you want.
Yes, I don't want to. We had a recent technology talk with techs in government, and the presentation was done on AI. It's not that persons don't want to embrace what we need to, what are the concern in certain things. And I'm not only speaking of Chat GPT, just all AI, what it can do and where it is now and how rapid it is moving, and the standards that are not putting in the security, or some of the concerns of security. And I heard technology people saying, wow, this is moving in too fast. So it's not that they don't embrace it or they don't wish to embrace it based on the feedback. I'm getting the feedback that we heard there, but the concern for certain things that are not put in place as yet while it is moving this fast. It is here to stay. We know it's not going anywhere. It is here to stay. So yes, this, I would say at our organization and so far within the tech industry, the discussions that has been had, it's not that they don't look forward to it, they're working with it, and it's how they can infuse it in the work that is being done, but at the same time ensure the security and the protection of information and the quality and the work that is being done. So yes.
Okay. Miss Clough, can you thank you very much, Miss Curtis. So coming right back to you. Miss Clough, you said that you're going to be rolling out some products next year. In terms of eGov's, digitally bold philosophy, digitally bold principles, the policy, the product, the programs that they have, what challenges did you, for other organizations who may want to shift into embracing digital more and more, what challenges did you have in terms of the human capacity, the human capability issues, and also what solution did you come up with to mitigate these challenges?
Well, one of the first things is what we call in government our establishment, or what our HR calls the Blue Book. So what that is the list of staff members in a particular department that are allowed. So for example, on the establishment, you might have two programmers, better yet, one programmer. And while we're trying to pivot and go digitally bold in a COVID setting or any other kind of pandemic or catastrophic setting, one programmer could never put out the information or the applications that we need in a timely manner so that people can still continue with their lives. And so that would definitely be the biggest issue for us in terms of the physical capacity in the organization. But how we tackled that at the RGD was to hire programmers. We hired consultants who we got to expedite some of these applications so that we could put them online. Of course, we have very dedicated programmers here at the RGD. I will not call their names, they know themselves, and they will work tirelessly 24 hours just to push out the application so that our customers can access our services and products online. But for us, that was our biggest challenge. The restrictions from our establishment in terms of the number of persons we can hire in a particular capacity, and even so, the number of them.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Miller, one of the usual challenges that government would have with pulling or pushing out all of these apps and these programs is the ability of the citizen to respond to it. You know, the usability, the issues of access and so forth. Based on your observation thus far, how has the project itself been taken up by the citizens? What has been the response?
Oh, we haven't reached the app. The app hasn't fully
Oh,
rolled out as
that's
yet.
it. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we have some backend work. It's functional and everything, but we have to tie it up with the confidential agreement and into our system and so forth. So the developer, that has been done, that is ready. So it's just to tap the backend. But our feedback persons, the operators out there are anticipating, looking forward for this app.
So there's a demand for it then.
Yeah, there's a demand for it.
All right, that's important. That's very important. It just shows where the citizenry's headspace is. Thank God for COVID. You know, at another institution that I work at, you know, I was always teaching online. There's an online course that I taught, and I knew that there was some pushback by one or two colleagues about, you know, the whole online virtual. You know, it's valid. It's utility, you know, perhaps out of fear or otherwise. But it's surprising that post-COVID, that particular colleague of mine is the greatest advocate for online learning right now, because we were all forced to be put in a space where we had to learn to do something that we thought we couldn't use or we were essentially afraid of. So that has created this kind of digital world here in Jamaica. And this question is now coming to eGov specifically, based on your observations of, you know, the demands of your other agencies. Has there been any uptake in or an increasing demand for online services in Jamaica?
Well, basically,
Hold on, Mr. Miller. This one was for eGov. Sorry.
Oh.
Yes, yes, Dr. Willer. A lot of many are asking for online services or way in which they can pivot. We are seeing entities putting out systems or working with third parties. So in terms of, you know, we deal with approval of no objections for purchases, for procurement, for systems, and a lot of these are coming out. I know some entities which I can't speak until they roll out their applications have come for approval. So yes, we have seen it's a greater demand for online services, or greater demand for how they can be more efficient in delivering service to the wider public. So yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So I have some questions from the audience, and we'll start with Mr. Nyan Whittingham. As we go digital across the government, what is the importance given the dedicated e-records management, and how can eGov help with that?
E-records management?
Yes.
I suppose that is a RIM, that is records information management. Okay, we work, we sit in a number of committees where that deals with digital, for digitizing and digitalization. And so we lend our expertise on various implementation teams for ICT activities. I'm not saying all, but quite a lot of ICT requests comes through to us, either for no objection for procurement or for direct service assistance. So ICT consultancy is very high here. So we have the necessary skill sets that we lend to the entities. And at sometimes the entity do not have the resource, and we have had to put a resource at the organization. What we're looking at now is more collaboration, and so sharing of an entity resource with ours and we sharing with them so that we can deliver the service. The entity can deliver that service.
Thank you very much, Ms. Curtis. We have a question here from Mr. Miller. When will the app be rolled out and how can I access it?
Okay, this app, as I mentioned before, it is just doing some fine tuning. So hopefully, we're in October, before the year end, it will definitely be rolled out. So we are 95% complete. It's just fine tune certain things. That's when it rolled out to minimize the glitches and so forth. But it was something definitely before the end of the year. And I could I ask a question to ECOF? I don't know if you're the entity that deals with online services for the government, like you pay taxes also online. And I really welcome when you could pay your fitness fee and your other some other fees, motor vehicle fee, because you'd have to join the line at the tax office, get the fitness, and go down to the depot, wait again and wait again. So that was you can pay the fitness fee online. That was a very that simple thing. It reduced a lot of time. But I was looking for in terms of government offices now. I don't know if it would be it would be on the ministry themselves in terms of automating instead of you come in and sign the book every day. We have swipe cards already, and so we must can move the technology where you don't have to sign just the card alone, or you put in a code or something, register that you're here for the day or you came in at that time. And everything is like automated. So something simple like that. I don't know if you're working on something like that, or each ministry have to develop their own platform to deal with that.
You want to answer, Ms. Curtis?
Okay, our role while we work with the entities, remember entities do have their autonomy in what they can implement. However, so it would be the dependent on the strategy of that entity. However, they're looking at government-wide improvement in service delivery, for which eGov is tasked more. I read in my slide earlier was how are we going to assist government entities? One of our roles is to assist with the digital transformation. So yes, we are having quite a number of strategic engagements to understand as we understand more what entities are doing, but also we will bring some of the information to the teams or to the entities in terms of what is happening out there and how can entities improve their service delivery by making changes within their organization and utilizing technology. Yes.
Ms. Clough from, thank you very much, Ms. Curtis. And Ms. Clough from Anonymous. When will I be able to get married online?
Well, well, if the demand is there, we will definitely look into supplying that as a service to our customers. You still have to get married with a marriage officer, but if you come to the RGD, especially at the head office, we can stream your wedding live. So you can invite all your family and friends from all across the world, as far as you can find a Jamaican in any part of the world, and invite them on Zoom to your wedding.
Thank you very much. And this question is from the open question from Ho Zhu. Yes, digital transformation to society is important, I agree, but how are you all trying to deal with digital transformation inclusion, especially for the group who are non-tech savvy, elderly group, etc.? That's one question. And the second question is also, what are your plans to help these groups to deal with the cybersecurity issues, ransomware, phishing, and those attacks? Cybersecurity. So there's a cybersecurity question.
Okay, you broke up a minute. Which could you just repeat
so the first question was asked essentially about digital inclusion. In other words, how do we ensure that those persons, like for example the elderly, those persons who are in deep rural parts of Jamaica who don't have access, those persons who don't have the capacities to be able to, who may not have the capacities to be able to do these things on their own. How do we ensure that they're included in the process? In other words, to ensure that they're not left out. So
And this is
courtesy to respond to it.
the individuals or the organizations?
Well, how does the organization, EGOV, RGD, Ministry of Agriculture, how do you ensure that everybody gets access to the data and the services that they need in order for them to interact with the government?
I'm going to say from an eGov perspective, we support entities because we're government to government. So we will be working on initiatives for the government, the ministries, departments, and agencies to roll out services or to reach out. But so our core thing is assisting the government entities with their plans. There is, in terms of connections, there's a broadband policy and a broadband rollout for broadband services for connections. Again, that is an entity who publicizes those things and not necessarily eGov. What we try to facilitate, and this is one of the things that we're doing through our technology month, for entities or the wider public to know what is happening within government, is our technology event that we're going to have in November. In November, the event will be streamed online, and the average citizen can find out what is happening in government for government-facing solutions. That is on the eGov perspective, to assist the government entities in telling the story and reaching out to others.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone else want to respond? Well, there are a number of strategies. Let me respond just quickly. There are a number of strategies that can be undertaken to ensure and facilitate inclusion. But before I start, the reality is that not everybody will be included or can be included in any system. There are always outliers, and there are always circumstances that prevent even the government from being able to facilitate that kind of inclusion, such as, for example, other examples. But in my opinion, and based on what I've seen, and if I was to compare the literature with observations, the government of Jamaica has really done a lot in the last 5 to 6 years in particular to facilitate inclusion. They have used all of the textbook strategies, which would include infrastructure development. EGOV has been, and the National Works Agency has been very pivotal where that is concerned. There's been a lot of public-private partnerships with the different telecom companies, but also with tech companies. And during COVID was a clear example of that, when the government was able to ensure that tablets were available to as many persons as possible by, again, facilitating the affordability of these tools, which is one of the different theoretical arguments about how to facilitate inclusion. And then there's also capacity building and training activities. And a more recent one is the representation of doing the process visually. Very often people have a difficulty for whatever reason reading about how to do it, but if they can follow through by watching how to do it with a little video, that always helps. I know that RG does a lot of that. It literally shows you how to move and click and what to get and how to do the different work. So you don't necessarily need to ask someone to help you. There's also content development. You have to ensure that the language is written in a particular way that they can understand, and that different persons in different places can be able to access it, use pictures if possible. I'm seeing where the tax administration has actually done that with their website. There is also mobile connectivity issues. The government has been working with the digital, the tech companies with where that is concerned. So I think I'm going to be very objective, and being familiar with the literature itself and also the space. A lot has been done to facilitate inclusion in Jamaica. And again, I'm going to end here where I started. There will always be people that are going to be left out, unfortunately. Life is like that, and which is not to say that we shouldn't do everything that is humanly possible to ensure that they are included in the process itself. Now, I see a lot of questions popping up here to Mr. Miller. We'll just take two more. To Mr. Miller, which stakeholders were consulted in the development of the app, and how much or what percentage of their feedback was taken into consideration during the app development process?
Okay, a very good question. When we were developing the app, we consulted with basically 3 operators. So we look at, because you have different type of operation. You have river aggregates where they get material from the river. You have very small operators who wouldn't, smaller than the one in the video. The video would be a more large scale operation. So we consulted with this very small one who wouldn't utilize a crushing plant. They would just use a sieve to get the different particle size. So our plan, when we're rolling it out, we're going to have different regional rollout. So we're also developing a manual. And so we will go through with the operator as well. So we will have a regional rollout where we invite the operators and carry them through the model. And then, as I stated, this is version 1. So if we decide we need to change certain things based on the rollout when we consult with a wider sector, we will adjust the model accordingly, like version 1.1, 1.12, and so forth. So it's an evolving app.
All right, thank you. And I think the last question that I'm seeing here, I'm just throwing it out to anyone who wants to take it. What are the safeguards being developed to prevent dishonest employees from breaching the system? But you know what? No, I mean, to tell you the truth, I think I can probably respond to that one too. I think there is just a standard that everybody uses, as it relates to data security and data privacy. There's a kind of global standard that most persons use in terms of how data is verified, and how data is protected. And for a fact, GOG has a number of digital auditing systems to monitor and evaluate the different portals that the various government agents, MDAs, have to ensure that the citizens' data and privacy and security is protected. And furthermore, there are certain internal standards that exist. The one thing about data, there's always some form of paper trail if you can track it down. So even at that kind of internal place or space, there is that ability. Of course, again, no system is perfect. You could take someone's password and use it to do something nefarious, and unfortunately, you would not get caught. That's just how it goes. In statistics, we always work with the 95, the 90, the 95, the 97, or the 99, because we know that 100 is not possible. But, thank you, everyone, for.
I just wanted to add.
Go ahead, Ms. Collum.
If I want to add, data security is very critical in our organization, and we do rigorous continuous training, continuous software for security awareness, and we also encourage same for other entities, security training. Am I still there?
Well, okay. I thought you had.
Okay, I was wondering. No, I thought I wasn't hearing.
No, we
Yes,
were hearing
training, and that's one of the things that we also encourage for other entities. And we work with entities in doing security audits. Alongside, as I said, we have done that with one of the entities who is online right now, and that is something that we provide in terms of assistance. We don't necessarily do all of these audits, but it's something that entities need to take into consideration in everyday work, employee awareness of security all around, and that is critical. Yes.
Thank you very much, and thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for making yourselves available to have this very, very, very important discussion about essentially the future of the GOJ. Um,
Prof.
yes, madam.
Sorry, Prof. If I may, I'm
Yes,
so
go ahead.
sorry, but
No, no, man, no
I was
problem.
looking at the chat with the questions for RGD, and I just want to run through. I have the answers all here. Very quickly, someone asked if we're open on Saturdays, not for applications, but for weddings at the head office. If you want to get married at the head office, we are open on a Saturday to facilitate that. All other applications you can get online: birth, death, marriage, adoption, correction of error status, you name it, they are there. We are going to roll out more next year. You won't have to even come in if you don't have to come physically to any of our locations when we are done putting our applications online. Next question was about our courier service. We don't have one currently, but we are in the process of finalizing an agreement with a reputable courier service. So that will be on stream very, 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 very soon. And lastly, there was a question about adoption and children who are adopted and how we are going to improve the service to adopted children. We are working on a program. We have been doing several projects working towards improving our service to our adopted children. In my presentation, I mentioned that we launched the application, so you can go online. You don't have to come in now. That was in August last year. August this year, for internally, we developed an application, electronic adoption indices, so that we can check electronically rather than check our volumes or books where the registers are kept. And so that increases our efficiencies. And of course, let me remind you, an adoption certificate will always look different from a birth certificate, because once you're adopted, your birth certificate is sealed. You cannot see or should not see your birth certificate. So your adoption certificate will always look different. So the question was also posed, when will we improve the face of it? Currently, the format that you get the adoption certificate now is in line with the legislation of what information you can get on your certificate. So we would have to amend the legislation to make any changes that persons may want to see and get approval, the necessary approvals for that. But for now, the legislation speaks specifically to a set of information that an adopted person can see for a certificate, but they cannot receive their birth certificate unless they go to court and unseal the record. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And thank you very much all for your insights in this very, very important discussion. I will now hand over to Ms. Callum.
So thank you, Professor Waller. Afternoon, everybody. Senator, the Honorable Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Audrey Sewell, Dr. Nsamba Jaja, and members of the JAXA team, colleagues in the public sector, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. What a day it has been so far for all of us in the public sector and, of course, for our extended family. As we close the curtains on the Public Sector Forum of the Service Excellence Conference, it is with great pleasure and a sense of gratitude that we reflect on the conversations today. And of course, we reflect on the call for us in the public sector to deliver on the service excellence mandate to ensure that we make the power of service excellence a reality while we are building trust in a digital world. We extend our deepest appreciation to all our panelists. And as you know, Ms. Melody Palmer had already extended warm and able applause to our early team of Ms. Holness and Ms. Wellington. We must lift our hats to Ms. Henley Curtis, Mr. Dennis Miller, and Ms. Tamika Clough, who shared with us just now on the topic, building ICT capabilities for service excellence. Of course, our sessions today could not have happened without our very capable moderator, whose own commitment to service excellence was on full display today. Professor Waller, we salute you and we thank you so much for anchoring our discussions today. The Office of the Cabinet's Public Sector Modernization Division, under the auspices of our Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Audrey Sewell, and the Chief Technical Director, Mrs. Margaret Johnson, thanks to you all, organizers, participants, members of the audience. We thank you for your participation and your dedication to the cause of service excellence. I'm sure you will agree with me that you are convinced, you are certain that the future of our public sector lies in good hands. Our discussion on building ICT capabilities for service excellence has demonstrated, of course, that the government is making inroads. You heard it just now. And it has emphasized the critical role that information and communication technologies play in our pursuit of service excellence. A robust ICT infrastructure is the backbone of any modernized government, and that is what we are about in the Office of the Cabinet Public Sector Modernization Division. And our conversations today have underscored the need for capacity building and innovation in this domain. We thank you so much for having joined us. As we conclude this forum, let us carry with us the insights, the information that we have garnered from the discussions into our respective organizations. The digital world calls us. It beckons us with opportunities to reshape the way we interact with our customers, to streamline operations, and to make data-driven decisions. It is now our collective embrace for us to take on board the power of service excellence, building trust in a digital world. We thank you and look forward to seeing you at our various events throughout Service Excellence Month. God bless you all.
Well, I tell you, Tanika, government service has never sounded better. Absolutely fantastic job from you and the rest of the team there at the Cabinet Office. The absolutely amazing work. And we congratulate you all. It is so good. As I listen to the panel discussions, lots of work being put in, and clearly it's a collaborative effort. And I believe that whether you work in the private sector or you work in the public sector, there are lessons to be learned. And at the end of the day, we all will benefit. And that is what it is all about, ensuring that we all as a people, we experience service excellence, because when we experience service excellence, we are more likely to share that service excellence. So thank you so very much for that. What an exciting day we have had. But we're not quite done yet. Timothy Cawley is president of the Jamaica Customer Service Association, JAXA. Timothy himself, a young professional, leads a team of very vibrant young professional executives from both the private and public sectors in his role as president of the Jamaica Customer Service Association. And this 20th staging of JAXA's conference is testament to the outstanding work of Timothy and his team. Timothy is Associate Director for Business Performance for Hinduja Global Solutions, an international business process outsourcing company. His professional experience spans the leadership of the contact centers for 3 major Jamaican financial institutions, adding value for deepening customer and client relations. So, of course, Timothy knows a thing or two about good customer service, excellent customer service. He's a believer in care, creating an atmosphere of repeatable excellence, and is highly results-oriented with targeted focus on experience and the value of customer retention and deepening of new and existing relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Timothy Cawley, President of the Jamaica Customer Service Association, JAXA. Timothy?
Hi, Althea. Thank you so much. And good afternoon to everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is my distinct pleasure on behalf of the Jamaica Customer Service Association and also the Office of the Cabinet Public Sector Modernization Unit to say thank you for being a part of our Service Excellence Conference 2023. As Althea mentioned before, this is our 20th stage in 20 years of delivering on our promise to enhance and to further deepen our standards of service in Jamaica and the region. And we're extremely grateful that you were able to celebrate with us and to be a part of this experience. It is something that is truly rewarding to see all the effort and all the planning and all the thought processes that went into the development of this event coming off in such a wonderful and fantastic celebration. So firstly, I want to just say thank you to everyone who would have been with us for the past 2 days. It would have been 2 days packed with content that was very relevant as we try to advance the conversations around service excellence and how we can use the digital age to build trust and to help persons to move forward into the future of AI, into the future of digitization with confidence and with a renewed sense of purpose without fear, knowing that as we move forward into the future, we move forward with confidence. So I want to firstly thank our partners, the Office of the Cabinet, for continuing to journey with us, for contributing to this process with us and helping us to build that bridge, that gap between the public and the private sectors to show exactly how we can bring forward a unified approach towards moving forward into this digital future. I want to take the time as well to thank all the persons who would have been a part of the planning and the leadership as well of our chairman of JAXA, Dr. Nsambe Jaja, or deputy chair, Mr. Richard Rowe, and also permanent secretary Audrey Sewell and her team, supported by Tanika Callum. And I really just want to say thank you to these persons because as leaders and visionaries, they have contributed to shaping the direction of where we go as an organization, as two distinct companies and institutions that move forward with one digitization, service excellence, and helping organizations and the public and private sector to deepen and to build that sense of trust and that sense of how we can move forward into our success. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be remiss of me to not say thank you to our hosts, Mrs. Althea McKenzie and Miss Norma Williams. These two ladies took us through the 2 days of our conference, and they eloquently guided us through those days, helping to keep the energy and the rhythm well high and to keep the focus in the right place. It would be remiss of me to not mention the keynote speaker, Mr. Leslie Lee Fook. And if you were a part of our day one session, you would remember distinctly all of the different challenges that he presented to us and how he brought the concept of AI into a very relevant and direct focus. The audience, for those persons that were on, were extremely excited as he presented on how you can use an AI model to present an insurance claim. So we saw lots of persons sharing their personal experiences about insurance claims and how long it would take to process. And he presented a very simplified way. And that is just testament to how Jamaicans and persons in the regions are enhancing and embracing the future of AI and how this can actually help to move us forward. So I want to thank, of course, Mr. Lee Fook, and also to thank our ministers of government who would have been a part of this experience with us. We want to thank, of course, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, or Minister of Tourism. He would have been here with us and presented on a very relevant topic and continuing to focus on how we bring in the idea of service excellence into our tourism product and how the experience continues to be enhanced for our visitors. And of course, Senator the Honorable Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, who also presented on a very critical topic. And we also want to show how important her ministry and her leadership will be as we move forward into the future, where we continue to look at how we digitize and how we enhance and integrate digital technologies into how we serve our people. Ladies and gentlemen, we had several forums, we had several discussions and panel focused conversations where we saw a very strong approach towards different concepts in service excellence and the concept of trust in a digital world. You would have heard yesterday as we listened to the panel that was chaired by Mr. Christopher Reckford, and you would have been introduced to thought leaders in various sectors across our landscape. And you would have also had the opportunity to hear from their own perspective within their own company. And we want to thank them for taking the time out of their busy day to contribute to us. And we listened with excitement for our afternoon session where we would have listened to the concept of how service excellence can be brought into educational spaces. And I believe that this was extremely timely as we recognize that within our island nation, there are many challenges that are happening within our classrooms. And we have an opportunity right now to ensure that we're reaching out to our young people, ensuring that they understand the concept of what it means to be a true Jamaican, someone who believes in service and who believes in the concept of excellence, and ensuring that together we're moving forward. Many of the things that are happening in our spaces need to stop. And we believe that a charge has been issued for JAXA, for the public sector, for each of us who would have been a part of this experience to move forward with some serious plans and actions to support the development of our youth and to see how we can partner together with our educators to ensure that the concept of service is something that is at the core of everything that we do. So I want to say, even though many of these things may seem to be perfectly timely, that's one of the beauty of how we plan and how we organize our things within the Jamaica Customer Service Association. All of these things were planned weeks, months in advance, not knowing what would have happened in our island at this time, but it just goes to show the relevance of what we're trying to do here. And we're very happy to see that we are able to contribute to this conversation. 20 years in the making, and here we are today adding value as we continue to move forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely grateful. And I speak on behalf of the Jamaica Customer Service Association and the Office of the Cabinet, a person feeling rewarded, feeling that I would have been a part of an experience that lasted for 2 days, that packed me with so much information, so much knowledge that helps me to feel almost that I have learned. It feels almost like I went to a 1-week conference, the amount of experience and knowledge and the breadth of information that would have come over. And for that, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Of course, Tanika would have mentioned earlier, or partners from the public sector who would have spoken today. And I want to say thank you to them for their sharing their own experiences. I don't know about you, but when I listen to some of the modernization techniques that are taking place, especially when I saw the large books that were being shown from the RGD standpoint and showing just how far we have come with technology, it just goes to show that we are moving in the right direction. Change takes time. But once we remain committed to it and remain focused with what we're doing, we will see success. So I want to thank our public sector leaders for contributing with us and to sharing their insights and also where they're going next. And we're excited to see how things like the service excellence policy, which was developed by the Office of the Cabinet, how that will be a part of the service offerings for the different ministries and agencies and departments, and to see how they're able to move forward with digital technologies. So I'm extremely excited about the future. I don't know about you, but I just can't wait to see what comes next. And ladies and gentlemen, this opportunity was provided to us because of the kindness of many sponsors. One of the things that we recognize is that to bring all of these persons together and to host on such a platform, it's costly. And we are grateful for the contributions of time and the resource contribution of many of our partners. And it would be remiss of me not to mention that I am extremely grateful for the Office of the Cabinet and the RGR Gleaner Communication Group partners that would have come with us. And we want to say thank you to the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, the National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited, the Administrator General's Department, the NHT, the National Housing Trust, the Victoria Mutual Group, and the Hart NSTA Trust, or partners Gold and Silver, and the JMMB Group, Guardian General Insurance Jamaica Limited, Ashebre, the virtual restaurant, Bert's Auto Parts, Guardian Life Jamaica, the Jamaica National Group, Grace Foods and Services Company, the National Health Fund, and our other partners, the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, and Rhythm FM, as well as Carrot Code. These persons continue to contribute to the advancement of service excellence in Jamaica, and we are grateful to them and for them for their participation and for their gift to us. By their partnership and their offering to us, we're able to offer these opportunities free of cost. And for that, we are grateful. So it is my distinct pleasure to say thank you again, and to say I'm going to ask you and I'm going to invite you to get into that chat as well, and to make some noise and to give thanks to all of these persons and to the experience that you would have had, because I'm sure you would have also learned and that you also have gratitude in your hearts as well. So the chat is open. You can add your comments, your own thanks to any segment or any person in particular that you wanted to give thanks to. And for that, I want to close off my thank you by one of the things that we recognize oftentimes is that we tend to not recognize that a lot of these things are made possible by the technical persons who work in the background. So firstly, I want to say thank you to CarFlow for hosting us on their platform and for providing all the technical services and support in the background. And also to say thank you to the persons who made the digital experience wonderful for us, from the graphics, from the technical aspects, from the videos. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Jason Salmon, who supported us with our graphic designs, Mr. Adrian Campbell, who supported as well with our graphic designs and editing, and Sagient Management Systems, who supported us with video production, graphics, our JAXA website, and our social media accounts. Thank you very much. And I say this with a heart full of gratitude because they enable us to be in the comforts of our homes and our offices just to make sure that we're able to have this experience. And why I'm even more excited is that as I'm reading the comments, because I told you to get in the chat and I'm reading your comments, I'm seeing that we have persons from Suriname, persons from China, persons from Jamaica, persons all over the region, from the US, from Africa. And that just goes to show that what we bring here today is an offering that it goes beyond the confines of Jamaica. And that's the benefit of being able to offer a digital virtual conference, looking at the power of service excellence, building trust in a digital world. So I thank you. I thank you as I leave from this stage, thinking heavily about our national pledge. A promise that we made before God and all mankind, a promise and a pledge to continue to enhance what we do here in Jamaica and in the region and in the world. We have so much to offer, and let us continue to enhance and to work together as we pledge ourselves to developing service excellence and the future of service in Jamaica, the region, and the world. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of today.
As children, we learn the true meaning of being a hero. Being a hero requires great sacrifice for others, not just ourselves. We learn about the heroes of Jamaica's past and how much of themselves and their lives they had to give in building a nation we should be proud to call home. They believed in a Jamaica that was more than just a country, more than just an island, more than land surrounded by water. They believed in a dream of a free nation of people, a nation built on the foundation of their sacrifices, a nation of many people working as one, a nation that would continue to produce legends and nation builders that serve towards that vision. As children, we were also taught the national pledge, a solemn promise, an undertaking. I would like to believe Sir Hugh Sherlock, while writing this pledge, understood the vision and dreams of our heroes. It's clear being a hero is too much to ever ask any one citizen. Luckily, the pledge does not require heroics of any of us. It merely asks that we honor our heroes by striving to advance our nation and ultimately inspire the world, like they and many Jamaicans have done. It's important we remember those words. These words. Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. like me, a Jamaican born and raised on this land, maybe you will remember saying those words, singing that song in a classroom or some general assembly. If so, like me, you made a pledge. Somehow it seems like many of us have forgotten that. The crime and violence, the indiscipline and short-sightedness, the corruption, the lack of respect for our beautiful lands we are blessed with, and the waters that surround and nurtures us. We have to do better. Let us honor our heroes so that they would not have sacrificed so much in vain. I hope this video can make a difference to even one soul. If so, it would all be worth it. If you feel the way I do, share it. May my voice become yours. Thanks for watching.
What a powerful, powerful, powerful video. And Timothy Carley, that was such a heartfelt thanks. I sat here and I listened to you and I felt like you're the son that I don't have. I just swelled up with pride. It was very moving. It was absolutely wonderful, a very sincere and heartfelt thank you. And what a way to bring the curtains down on what has been an amazing conference, Norma.
Listen, Althea, I'm here. I'm speechless. I feel emotional, as a matter of fact, because bringing everything to a close with a pledge. I feel so honored to be a part of a Jamaican production that is of such high standards and quality. I'm really, really blown out of the water for the past 2 days that have been so amazing. I shuddered almost. I was shaking with pride when I listened to the panel of experts, these academics, these persons of worth in our society. There is nothing that what we saw today can't fix the bad parts of Jamaica. Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. One of the things, though, that I want people to do before they get out of this forum is to take that exit poll. It is really critical, Norma, that we get a sense of what this experience was like for you. What would you like us to change? What would you want us to keep? Whatever it is that your thoughts are really, really very important. And outside of this forum, outside of the poll, remember, you can always reach out to JAXA and share your thoughts and ideas with them. That is how we drive more excellent customer service. If we're connecting those dots, we are taking the time to share our thoughts and ideas. We're spending time in our organization saying, listen, I think we can do better. I think we can do better. I got a message from a member of the NIC team, National Irrigation Commission team. And this young lady has been on for the past few days. And one of the questions that she asked was, will we have access to the information that has come out of this? And I know the JAXA team, so I know they're putting something together that they can share with the people who are a part of this experience so that they can continue to share that. And she had very high commendation. She said the conference and the information that has come out of it, nothing short of excellent. And I think it speaks volumes about the excellent service that is being offered by JAXA. So do the exit poll. Before we get out of here, though, Norma,
because
girl, I love spin.
You know what? You know when the finger starts to go around, what's gonna happen, right?
I know. And so we have 2 things to give away. We're not leaving here with them. We didn't come here to leave anything behind. Yes, look at that fantastic gift from the Guardian Group. And so, Danny and Mike, are you ready? Let's spin that wheel.
Let's see spin in the chat, though. Let's see spin in the chat. We need people to tell us, to give us the instructions to spin. Spin.
Are you seeing spin?
I'm seeing spin.
All right, let's go, Danny. Let us turn that wheel. Let us spin that wheel.
Anita Sutherland.
And we
Anita.
know how this goes, you know. If Anita is not on, Anita can't get the Guardian Prize.
Anita,
So
I'm
quickly,
calling
Anita,
you.
acknowledge that you're in here by
Anita.
dropping it in the chat.
Anita, I'm calling you. Please respond, Anita. Anita Sutherland. Lady.
And by the way, while we're
Sutherland.
waiting for Anita to respond, let me just indicate that we also have another prize to give away. This one from Cariflow. Now, this is really very critical. They are, 10% discount on virtual event services for your organization. So this is a very important one. I know that some of you have lots of activities and events that you participate in that are online that need this kinds of services that we have enjoyed over the past 2 days with Cariflow. Is Anita there?
I haven't seen, I have not seen.
All right, so you know what that means, Danny. We've got to spin again. We've got to spin again.
Spin it. Olubusola Akinladejo.
Yes.
Akinladejo. Olubusola Akinladejo. Am I saying it right? And are you
Good
here?
job. I don't know if it's right. Olubusola Akinladejo. I think that's a good job.
I think that sounds like it, but are you here?
So let us find
you
out.
Here? That's the question.
Yes, which is really very important.
Are you here?
We want to give this away. We're not leaving with it. We're not leaving with it at all. Not leaving with this Guardian gift.
This is, oh my gosh, no. I'm not, are we, you know what? I'm in here.
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I think I want to do things a little bit different.
Tell me, Althea. Tell me what you're going to do.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do. So the first person, the first person to drop a note in the chat, the first person to drop a note in the chat telling us the name of the president of JAXA will win that Guardian Prize. The first person to drop the name of the JAXA president. We don't want him pet name.
Listen, you remember when you know the answer, you used to do this, right?
But you can't answer. You can't answer.
I'm going to tilt my head
You
again.
can snap your finger all you want. Your job is to tell me who has won. So we're going to give away that Guardian Prize to the first
Come on,
person.
team. Don't let me down.
Who is the president of JAXA?
Type the name of the president of JAXA. Do not let me down.
Can't get any easier. Can't get any easier than that.
Well, somebody said no. What? No. Up. Did I see it? I think I saw it. Dwayne,
yes, I see a name coming up over here.
Dwayne,
Nicola Dunn.
Are you backing me up? Who is the first person?
Nicola Dunn is the one that I saw first.
What? So. Oh, hold on.
No, I saw Nicola Dunn first, and she didn't give the shortened version of his name.
Is it? She gave the first. She gave the shortened version there. Is that the person you're seeing? I don't want to call the wrong name.
I think I want Danny to help us out. So Bone Radio. Yes.
Is that
who was first? Danny, tell us. Just drop it in our chat and tell us who was first. So we want to make sure that we're giving away the Nicola Dunn with the full name. That's what I saw as well. So congratulations to Nicola Dunn. She had Tim's full name, Timothy Cawley. Yes, so congratulations.
Okay.
Nicola Dunn. All right, so Danny, you can tell us if you want us to use the same route to give away this fantastic gift that you have. Yes, she says yes. All right, so the first person to type in the chat, we talk about Cariflow, but what is the other name that is associated with the platform that we're using for this conference? If you can put that in the chat, the first person to drop that in, we are going to give you that 10% discount from CarryFlow.
And let
So
me tell
let's go
Althea,
and see what. Say that again.
Althea,
You can't
do
wait.
you realize the level of professionalism that we have experienced
Yes.
from the CarryFlow
Amazing.
team?
Amazing,
You need
amazing,
them.
amazing.
You need them.
From the onboarding sessions to just helping out when somebody's not getting it right, to ensuring that it was seamless. Well, we could go with that, but that is not what I was thinking of. Are you prepared to accept that, Danny?
Did we find somebody, Danny?
Danny says yes. Danny says yes. So they're going with Hopin. Congratulations. Let us see that name again, Danny. I'm sure you have it. So can you just share the name of the winner with us again? It went by so quickly. Mikhail and
Akar.
Yes, all right. So congratulations, Mikhail, and congratulations. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Mike and Danny. And Norma, before we get out of here, I'm going to remind people to make sure that they do the exit poll. But I think you want to quickly run through the list of sponsors once again.
I would love to. I'd love to, Althea, because it's so important that we really give kudos to these persons who jumped on board and who helped us to bring this thing to life. And I want everybody who is here in the chat, I want you either to give me a little big up for the sponsors. I want you to jump over on their socials, give them a follow. By the way, are we following JAXA? Let's see the numbers increase on our Instagram page or our Facebook
Become members of JAXA.
Are we members? Let's jump on. Let's get ourselves organized. Let's follow the socials. We have to big up the Office of the Cabinet, the Public Sector Modernization Division. They have been amazing. They have been a platinum partner. We have to say thank you. Thank you to RGR Gleaner Communications Group, also a platinum sponsor. We have to say thank you to the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, Dance Senior Miss Lou Costume, the JCDC. They have been an amazing partner for us. The private sector organization of Jamaica, I'm actually sitting in their boardroom right now, coming to you live. They have been amazing, a wonderful partner. Rhythm FM, another one of our amazing partners. Go follow them. Carry Code. And Carry Code is a training arm of JAXA. Not only I want you to follow them, but if you have a training course that you need, make sure you enroll. The Tourism Enhancement Fund, otherwise known as TEF for short, they are amazing. They're spreading the word about Brand Jamaica. They're protecting Brand Jamaica and getting it out there to all the really critical persons. They have been on board with us as a gold sponsor and amazing to our cause. Jamaica Public Service, JPSCO, they've also been a gold sponsor. The National Commercial Bank, they have been with us as a golden sponsor. Amazing people. The Administrator General Department, our silver sponsor. The National Housing Trust, or the NHT, silver as well. The VM Group, and we heard from them yesterday. Great, great, great people. They have been on with us as a silver sponsor as well. The Heart NSTA Trust, a silver sponsor. The JMMB Group, they have been with us as a bronze sponsor. We're so grateful. Guardian General Insurance Jamaica Limited, thank you so much. Another one of our bronze sponsors. Shebre, the virtual restaurant, a bronze sponsor. The National Health Fund, oh yes, love them so much. Keeping all of our Jamaicans well and healthy. They are a bronze sponsor here. Guardian Life Jamaica, bronze as well. Jamaica National Group, bronze. Our Grace Kennedy family, they're on with us too as a bronze sponsor. And of course, if you know you have to check Bert's, right? Because they checked us and they are our bronze partner in this conference. Please support our sponsors with your follow, with your business, do business with them because they have helped us to do this amazing, amazing presentation.
Absolutely wonderful. And I see a note that the polls will start going out just about now. Just about now, the polls are going to open. So make sure you do that exit poll. And of course, Expo and networking. Please make sure you visit those booths. Make sure you do that networking. And that is going to be open until 4 this afternoon. So we all want you to network. We want you to get the information. So we're leaving that open until 4 this afternoon. Norma, before I come back with my final comments, your final thoughts on how this has all gone.
I said it before, Althea. I have been in this emotional place as the conference is coming to a close because, again, I'm just blown out of the water by the level of professionalism, the quality of the speakers, how much information was packed in. Today, I think you ran through what we got yesterday. Today, for me, what just was so awesome was how we started off with that jingle, just to set us into that beautiful mood. And then, of course, we have our senator, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, who came. And you know what was amazing about her presentation that really has stuck with me? The fact that she has underscored that what drives the tech policies is just out of sheer respect for people. And the fact that she wants to know that people are able to relate to their government in an easier way. You know, a place where people feel so honored to just do business. It's so much easier. The series with the panelists. I mean, Professor Waller, you are amazing. I just sat here and I listened to every word. I loved the mastery of how you maneuvered through the panel discussion. I loved the information that came my way. It really was amazing. I loved also the fact that we were exposed to our calendar of events for the customer excellence, the service excellence month, not week, month, with this kind of an attitude towards customer experience, customer service. I know that what is perceived about our customer service in Jamaica will be changed. I feel confident. I feel encouraged. I feel inspired. This conference has ignited a fire inside of me as a customer service practitioner. How was it for you out there?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was a joy to share the stage with you. I have to say thanks to Charmaine, who kept us on our toes.
Yes.
As well as to Dwayne, who is working in the background to make sure that we were fed with all of the information that we need. You're experiencing, Norma, what I have been experiencing over the years hosting this conference. You always feel good.
Yes.
You don't even have to try to feel good. You just feel good because that is what the conference does for you. And I know that at the end of this, we're all going to be leaving here and we're going to be singing the praises of JAXA. But you know what is more important than even singing the praises of the organization is ensuring that we practice, even in our homes, good customer service, because good customer service begins with the internal customers. Mm-hmm. And even our family members deserve to feel that they are excellent customers as well. And so that is where we need to start. Sometimes we don't see them as that. Yesterday I mentioned that Albert Schweitzer talks about the importance of service. And so we're called to serve. And I want to leave this with you. Dr. Maya Angelou, the late Dr. Maya Angelou, American poet, memorist, and civil rights activist, once said that people will soon forget what you said. They will never forget how you made them feel. At a fundamental level, all people want to do is to feel safe and secure throughout their lives, whether it's how they're addressed, how they're talked about, or how they're served. And we know that when a negative interaction occurs, the feelings people experience are more deeply internalized and remembered than those from good experiences. So we need to make sure that we focus our energies on designing the experiences people want but closing those experience gaps as well to prevent bad experiences overshadowing everything else. As Don Alden Adams says, to give real service, you must add something which cannot be bought or measured with money. And that is sincerity and integrity. Norma, ciao until we meet again. We're going to take us out of here with our Celebrate Customer Service sponsors video. Absolutely fantastic teamwork over the last few days, the last couple of days. And of course, we look forward to coming back to you next year. Remember that when you sign off, you go straight to Expo and Networking and make sure that you do that poll. God bless you all.
I hope everyone is over into the virtual space, going to all the sponsors' booths, networking. We really have to utilize this connectivity machinery, this virtual machinery, to make sure that we're putting in place a lot of the things that we would have learned at the conference and making the necessary connections, because we know the importance of networking. This has been amazing, everyone. Remember to do good, walk good, and just see you next year, 2024, at the next JAXA Customer Service Conference.